Today we got some interesting footage and pictures to look at about extraterrestrial beings from Dr. Steven Greer on a Vlad TV interview. Now, this is interesting for anybody who has interest in that department. I grew up watching a lot of documentaries. I just remember early in the maybe in the 90s, in like the early 2000s, where we were in a phase of non-disclosure, right? And today, not just today, maybe in the past, over the past few years, we've been in the phase of disclosure, and it's just becoming more nationally talked about. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna show you one clip, and then I'll show you the next clip with the pictures in it. So here we go. Check this out.
A lot of these objects that people are encountering, which are very dangerous in how they move, are actually human in their construction. Now, that is a much, much bigger secret than the fact that there are extraterrestrial vehicles out there. Because if that were to be acknowledged, the very first thing anyone with any sense is going to ask is how are we building these? When that gets answered, it'll get answered. And when it gets answered, it's the end of oil, gas, coal, nuclear power, public utilities, and surface road.
I mean, just imagine a world, right? Imagine a world, like he said, no poverty. No poverty. People would, man, just, I don't know, man. I just think we would treat each other a lot better. We would treat the planet a lot better. People's quality of life would be a lot better. No oil, no coal, zero energy.
When that gets answered, it'll get answered. And when it gets answered, it's the end of oil, gas, coal, nuclear power, public utilities, and surface roads. Why? Because the technology, this is why we put out this film, The Lost Century, and how to reclaim it. There's a century of technologies that have been sequestered, and the damage that we're seeing to the biosphere and the world poverty that has accelerated over the last 100 years is in large part because these sort of amazing sciences and technologies have been kept secret, and ruthlessly so. I mean, I personally know people who have been murdered trying to bring some of these technologies out that would take us off oil. And I'm not talking a fake Tesla car. I mean, the ones that you buy now, a real Tesla would never have to be plugged into a coal-fired power grid. A real Tesla would be pulling energy out of the fabric of the space around it, where there's an embedded level of energy called the zero-point energy field, which literally the amount of space inside a coffee mug has enough potential energy at that 0 point level literally to boil off all the oceans of the world. It's an enormous amount of power. Nikola Tesla called it the infinite energy field. But that was quantified, by the way, by Professor Casimir, first postulated in the 30s, but proven in physics journals in the 1950s. So unfortunately, if you're at MIT or Harvard or anywhere else studying physics and electromagnetic engineering, you're not going to be exposed to this. This is not in the textbooks. It's been very highly sequestered and classified, but it's the solution to poverty, global warming, all kinds of issues. And so, I think that this is, people ask, why would anyone keep this secret? Well, I'm telling you why. We're talking what, $1,000 trillion in assets in oil and coal and utilities and whatnot that would be redundant, unnecessary. Now, that's not good if you own an oil field. It's very good if you're a human living on planet Earth. So I think for that to come out, but I think this is the real debate. I think we need to move very quickly away from, these sort of ephemeral sightings, which we have something like 300,000 accounts of these sort of sightings. We have 3,500 aircraft pilot encounters like Mr. Fravor described. And those have been in reporting systems since the 40s and 50s.
Okay. Now, let's look at the next clip.
So let's say if there's, a 10 or 20% misuse of funds out of that $1 trillion, that's 100 to 200 billion a year. And I think that'd be conservative of what's going into these illegal projects. So I think because of that, the Congress, which holds the power of the purse to fund things, and it was mentioned at that committee hearing by one member of the committee that they need to start thinking about withholding funding if these agencies and corporations don't start cooperating.
Well, let's talk about some things that have happened since our last interview with you. So I think the biggest thing was Mexico's Congress had a UFO hearing, and they pulled out what they say was a 1,000-year-old alien corpse. Is this a real corpse? Or, because from what I read, they're saying this is really just like a skull of a llama pieced together with some other various animal human bones to make it look like something. A lot of it's not even symmetrical, like the left and right arm bones don't match and so forth. So is there any reality in this at all?
Honestly, I've known about that for about 6 or 7 years. It's not new. We have never been given access to the material and been able to do genetic studies on it. And without a very sophisticated a series of genetic studies for what's called ancient DNA, old DNA that's not fresh and living, which is his own specialty, by the way. Very few places can do it in the world. You're not going to know what that is. And so on the one hand, I can't deny it, but I certainly have no evidence as to what it actually is.
But if you just eyeball it, based on all the studies that you've done, does it look remotely real?
Most likely not, but I mean, it's theoretically possible. Look, the universe is a big place. It's theoretically possible. There could be some life forms that look like that. I'm saying that I'm not going to make a statement one way or another when I have no scientific basis for making that statement. And the other thing is that those could be put through an MRI or a CAT scanner where you could actually see the morphology. And as a doctor, I mean, I know exactly what I would do with that if I had possession of it, but I wasn't given access to it. So it's a big question mark.
Okay. Ring, the camera company, the door camera company, recently offered $1 million for anyone who captures an alien on their actual Ring camera. Do you think this is just a marketing ploy, or do you think there's something to this?
Well, I actually have a picture on my cell phone of 2 actual ETs that were present at a CE5 contact event. If you're at Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, you can see the film on Amazon Prime or Tubi. And so it's not on a Ring camera, it's on my iPhone. So if you could have them contact me, they can send us $1 million tomorrow.
Okay. Do you have these pictures right now?
Yeah.
Can you show them on the camera?
Oh, I'd have to fish them out, but yeah, they're pretty amazing, actually. So this is one. And, he, very triangular shaped head, almost like a beak-like face. It was at an event we did out in the Arizona desert a couple years ago. There were about 30 witnesses to this. This photograph was taken with a really good Nikon camera by David Marconi, who wrote the screenplay for Enemy of the State. And it was during a reconnaissance and contact event we were doing there in the desert up above Tucson, up at about 4,000 or 5,000 feet. And it was a very unusual series of events happened. We have another one. I don't know if I have that one on my phone. That happened at Joshua Tree National Park about, 15 years ago. And quite spectacular. Everyone saw, and as a person took a picture of it. Now this was under low light conditions, but it's very clear what it is, and it's an extraterrestrial being that's sort of levitating, floating out in the desert just outside our circle. So yeah, we have a lot of unusual material, and one of the things that we moved forward with in 1990 was concluded. Number one, we're not alone in the universe. And number two, who's making contact with them, right? Not the State Department or UN. So we started a project called the CE5 contact program. And there's an app called CE5 Contact that takes you through all the protocols to be able to do this. And we have had so many thousands of people have sightings and contact events from using that protocol. Now, I don't know if anyone has a Ring camera that they've captured it on, but that's an interesting wrinkle.
That's crazy. All right. So I want to try to enhance that photo because to me, I feel like it's kind of blurry and you can't really see what I feel like you need to see to believe. You know what I'm saying? So let's try to enhance it. Hold on one second. Let's do that and let's put that on the screen. Okay. So we're going to look at the before, the original photo that we see here in the video. And then I'm going to pull up the enhanced version. Now, looking at this enhanced version, I mean, due to the original quality of the photo, it doesn't seem to change very much. I see it change, but not very much. But here you go. Now, I want y'all to talk to me now. Tell me what you think about this. I truly feel like this is a relief for people who follow stuff like this. Disclosure is a relief for me because I feel like maybe we can stop fighting about dumb stuff like skin color and ethnicity and money and worry about something else as just human beings. This stuff to me is mind-blowing. Hey man, leave your thoughts down in the comments, man. I'm out of here. Until next time, Maji gone, man. Follow us on Instagram at theblackumbrella.tv. You can find us on YouTube at theblackumbrella816 or on Facebook at TBU TV. Thanks for watching.